Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division in the Christmas Links tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. So let's go into the action. Before I take my first shot, do not forget to look down in the video description. There you can find direct timestamp to all the holes in this playthrough. And also I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. That is also the reason why this playthrough is out a little bit later than usual, because I've been spending time with family celebrating Christmas. If you do want to get the updated text guides, you can get them through patreon.com/golfclashtommy. And what is an updated text guide? An updated text guide is where I in detail explain in text and also try to visualize the shot as well for you, so you know exactly how to adjust for an approach shot, for a drive, etc. So hole number one here is a short par 4, and for me here this is very important to get it either on the green or very close to the green, and that is what we're going to try to achieve. Here I use the big topper. The reason I'm using the big topper is then I do not have to use overpower. Then I can just rely on the topspin. We do need to have a little bit of curl, and that is what we're going to apply as well. If you do have a power 5 ball, which is not common in Rookie, but maybe you won one in the golden shot or something, then you can play with that going directly over the water. Now I'm adjusting one ring, and that is one ring giving ourselves half a ball of curl outside to the right, which is going to be too little in this case here. We do bounce nicely and we do bounce past the bunker, but we do come in a little bit too much to the left. So don't be afraid to use the curl and go with like around one ball of curl outside. We went half a ball, go with around one ball, then we should be closer. We do want to stay away from the rough, and of course from a situation like we're having, that is going to be a good opportunity. But in my opinion, with the wind that we're having on this short par 4, this got to be an eagle. Otherwise we're going to lose a stroke, especially if we're going for the top positions. In the end, so I'm going to take the drive before we miss actually this one, because I hit it great. Well done to our opponent, by the way. The thing is here that we do need to have in mind is that we do want either to play with a drive with a lot of power. That is the extra mile. Then we will have to use a power 3 ball, go with some overpower, and try to do the same as we did with the big topper here. Or we are using the big topper, which could be in whatever level. You can have it in level 1, doesn't matter, because we're still going to have the distance. The topspin is what I'm looking for there. We're using the big topper without having to go with any overpower, bouncing on the island, using our adjustment with 10% extra. So you decide. If you feel comfortable with overpower, you go with overpower. If you don't feel comfortable with overpower, you go with the big topper. That's my suggestion for hole number 1. Oh, lousy second shot. Hole number 2, it's a par 3. And a par 3 where we're going to play our wood club. We're going to play our wood club in medium distance of it. You can see we do have some headwind, and I'm going to change here and I'm going to use a marlin. We can use a basic ball, we can use a marlin, but I like to have a little bit of wind resistance at least on this hole. You can see I'm using the blue ring as a reference there, having the blue ring almost completely by the rough. I'm using one bar, like half a bar of backspin with a little bit more than one bar of side spin to the left. I would say here that we do need to have a 15% extra over adjustment because we are playing downhill. So this is going to be played 2.5 rings, and as you're going to notice by the result here is that we're going to go short. And that is going to have, that is because of 2 reasons. Number 1, the biggest factor is that we do hit it great. When we hit it great, we're going to lose distance. And the second of all is that we're using backspin. Take away the backspin and aim exactly as I did, then you're going to be very, very close if you're not going to get it in. I don't like to come afterwards and explain like I should do this and that, but I like this example anyway, because we came in kind of straight towards the pin, and something that tiny as just a half a bar of backspin to take away, combined with hitting it perfect, that is what, that of course we can survive with. So that shot, yeah, in the end, safe birdie for us, and this is going to be a birdie hole in general, but it's definitely a possibility for us to make an hole in one. Well done to our opponent here as well. Now we go over to the first par 5, and the first par 5 is hole number 3. And here I'm going to play right side. The reason I'm playing the right side here is because the risk of having a lower leveled club going on the left side will potentially put ourselves in a bad position for a second shot. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, because this drive is not easy either. I play with the quarterback, but in the end, when coming into this situation here, that is that I'm having a little bit too little of topspin. I would like to have at least 1 or 2 bars more, so I don't have to aim that close towards the side. I'm playing with a power 3 ball, not that much for the drives, like for we're having like a drive that we need to do drive far, but for the second shot. You can see here now, our opponent here is going to play straight forward, and that is of course a much easier drive. But the thing that you need to do if you're going to play straight forward is that you need to be fairly close to the top. I would say if you're not above the shadow of the top tree, then you're going to have a big problem for the second shot, as it's going to be a long way. So again, you decide, do you want to go left, do you want to go right? I can say, like, if you can make sure that you're going to be there on the top, then you should be playing left, and also that you do have a wood club and also a power 3 ball. If you do feel comfortable going with some curl and don't have to care that much how far you're going to roll, then you can play the side that I played with here. Here, for the second shot, we do have some tailwind, and it's going to be no problem for us to reach over. We have a lot of space to the right of the bunker that we can use. So now I'm going, I would say I'm going tiger line here. I'm trying to go right at the pin, but this is going to be a par 5, which we're not going to see that many albatrosses at all. 2 bars of backspin, max side spin to the left. And I'm coming in fairly good, and I'm happy with that shot, and I'm going to take my eagle. Hole number 4. Hole number 4, we're going to play a par 3, and we're going to add 10%. Have that in mind, because that is going to affect both, going to affect when it comes to choosing the club here, which is going to be very important. The second part that is going to affect is the bounce. So the bounce with tailwind, we are going to have an extended ball guideline, which in that case going to bounce a lot further than it would be with like a crosswind or with a headwind. So that is all that we do need to do. Our opponent here finds himself in between clubs, and I don't blame him, because there is one way that you can actually do here that I would suggest you do. I would like you to spend a power 3 ball here, and that is not often I say that on a par 3. But the reason I say that now for this par 3 is because that we can in that case use our long iron. So I'm going to switch, and I'm going to play with a titan. Look here now. Now we finally get some distance, and now we can play this one properly. We can play it with a power 1, power 2 ball as well, but in the end, then we're going to have a harder time to go for the pin. Going to use half of the blue ring inside the rough on the right, and we're going to go with this ball with a little bit more than 2 bars of backspin. Max side spin to the right as well, which is 4.5 bars. 2.5 rings is what I'm adjusting here for the backbone max distance with 10% extra. And we bounce, and we're coming in pretty nicely here. The speed is very good, but again, if you rewind a little bit, you will see that I'm not having half of my blue ring inside the rough on the right. So that is that we're going to have to fix. Now we come into hole number 5. Hole number 5 is another par 5, and here we do need to add 10% to our adjustment. I'm going to use max side spin, and I'm also going to use in this case 1.5 bar of backspin. The reason I'm using 1.5 bar backspin is because I do want my ball to stop. I'd rather go a little bit short than I'm going a little bit long into the rough. Having my yellow ring just by the rough there, as you can see, adjusting 1.5 rings for having my extra mile max distance with 10% extra. Then we're going to go just using we can say tiny bit of curl to the left. We can go with more if you want to, but it's not necessary. And we bounce it over the bunker very, very nicely. And in that case, now we're going to have a very open and nice shot towards the pin. And here you do have like in two ways. If we would know to 100% that we would be making a drive that we did now, then we could play with a wood club that doesn't have that much distance. But I would prefer to, just in case, so we're not putting that unnecessary pressure on us, to play with the wood club that gives us the most distance. And that could be the big dog in most of the cases in rookie, or it could be a horizon, or it could be an upgraded viper or a sniper in the worst case scenario. Second shot here, you can see I'm playing with the big dog, and look here, even though we have a power 3 ball, we are in max distance of our club. And now I'm going to use tiny bit of backspin. I'm going to have to go with 1 bar of backspin. It's going to be enough. And look here, now I'm aiming straight at the pin, going to use the second bounce where I do want to have around 2 rings like before the fringe. Then we're going to adjust for max numbers without any elevation adjustment. Even though it looks slightly uphill, I'm not going to add or most in that case I'm not going to subtract anything. Coming in, bounce, bounce, and we roll, and we're coming in very nicely and actually dropping that little ball for an albatross. So we get a boom for that one. So if you just play it conservative, play it good, just an easy drive, the second shot is definitely going to help us out big time. So hole number 6, and hole number 6, now we can actually go for the green again. All the par 4s we can go for the green, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to play this one. If I would not be having a big topper, then I would be playing with an extra mile that gives me the most distance. I would also play with a power 3 or a power 5 ball. If in that case having a power 5 ball, then in that case going to be important to get it over there. You can see I'm having a power 1 ball here, and again, even if you play with a big topper here, you should be playing with a power 3 ball. Now I'm going with a tiny bit of overpower, almost having like 80% of the ball outside to the right. I'm using max topspin, and this is a good reference. Now I'm lucky to hit the rocks there, but you can see the point there with that shot is that I'm going to, in best case scenario, I'm going to bounce before the rough and just bounce over the rough, or just on the side of it to get it very close. So with the second shot now we're going to have an approach shot with a wedge, which of course is going to be way easier than from distance. But I want to be very clear that this shot, then you need in that case to you cannot miss, you cannot hit it good, you cannot like accidentally slip with your finger, then you're going to be in the water. So it requires that you play your shot, your drive 10% extra from where your club is. The big topper in that case is with the 10% extra. So in this case, I've decided to go for the dunk. That's when we don't have that much ball guideline. I'm going to put my club and then I'm going to dunk it. I'm going to play this one a little bit less than 1 ring, and we're going to drop it for an eagle. I'm not adding anything for elevation. I'm playing the shot from where it is and then adjusting the rings. So we drop it in for an eagle and we take a boom there as well. I would say the par 4s are so much the key in this tournament, ladies and gentlemen, and getting an eagle there is definitely going to help. So now it's time to play hole number 7. Max side spin to the left, and I would consider this one to be probably the hardest one in the tournament overall. I want to play right side, because I do feel that that is the best way to make a hole in one. The risk we take going right is that if we do misadjust, then we can be in the rough or we can get into the water. But I do believe it's an easier way to get it into the sand by playing on the left side. Tiny bit of curl to the left, 10% extra, 3 bars of backspin, and max side spin. You can see I'm way off, in my opinion, way off to the right. So what can we do then? I don't want to change my landing position in any way. I would change the fact of having the curl to be half a ball outside the adjustment ring to the left when you play. And that, of course, all these adjustments are going to be specified and in a detailed way in the updated text guides that is going to come out. And that is why the updated text guides is probably combined with the videos your absolute best way to have a base for how to adjust for these holes. Now we come to hole number 8. Now it's time to get out with Mr. Topper here again. And the thing that we're going to do here now is that I want, in this case, to go with one single bounce over the bunker. And you can see I'm aiming before the bunker because the initial plan was to bounce a double bounce over the sand. And the reason I'm saying that I wanted to bounce directly over the bunker was because I was under the impression that the ball was actually going to stop. But while playing this hole a couple of times, I did gain a very good distance here with this one. But you can see I'm coming in, hitting the pin. Otherwise I would be going very, very long. And the thing that we need to have in mind with hole number 8 here is that we add 10% to our drive. Very important. The Big Topper is a good club, but if you do want to bounce directly over the sand, you cannot use max topspin with the Big Topper. You do need to use as most 6 bars of topspin. The reason I'm saying that is because otherwise you potentially put yourself out of bounds and you roll over the green completely, and that would be absolute worst case scenario. So in my opinion, that is the best way to go with. If you don't have a Big Topper, then you will have to play with the drive that gives you the most distance combined with the most topspin, which in most cases are an extra mile, and try to gain as much distance as possible for this par 4 for the drive there. But in the end, that is a shot that kind of needs to be either on the green or close to green, but in the end it's going to have to be an eagle on hole number 8 to be there up top. And I've said that on all the par 4s, but all the par 4s are possible to drive. And in the end, you can see I played with a Big Topper level 4 with a power 1 ball. Play with a power 3 ball if you do have a Big Topper level 3 or below. Otherwise you can play with a power 1 ball, then you don't have to spend a power 3 ball. But again, before I come to hole number 9 now, be very aware of the fact to not use max topspin, then you will go out of bounds in many of the cases. So now focus on hole number 9. First, we do have the extra mile, max topspin, 3 bars of side spin. I'm going to aim in max range of my club, and now I'm not going to add anything for elevation, so I'm going to play this one just as it is, and it's going to be slightly less than 2 rings. I'm adjusting my rings, then I'm pushing my target back into max position. Why do I do that then? The reason I'm doing that is because I do want to gain as much distance as possible, but I do want to adjust for the wind in a proper way. So when we're having some crosswind, I don't want to miss adjusting for the crosswind by just winging it out to the left with my adjustment. Do my rings, put it back up to max distance, then I take my shot. Here you can see I did use a controlled way of overpower. which was around like 20% of overpower. You can go with max overpower if you want to, but that is going to be enough overpower to put yourself in a spot where you can reach for the greenie 2 with no problem. Second shot, we do need to use the big dog. And the big dog do give you a lot of power, which is going to help you big time. And we do want to reach over the first piece of rough there, which is going to be very important. The big dog also has curl, which also in this case is going to be helpful. Having their yellow ring just by the rough to just have some margin in case we're hitting the ball great to the right. And now we're going to adjust for 3.9 with max range of the big dog, which is going to give ourselves 1.5 rings. You can see I'm using curl again, which is going to be half a ball of curl outside to the right. With bounce, you can see also I used 1 bar topspin and max side spin to the right. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the playthrough for Rookie Division in the Christmas Links tournament. I wanted in this playthrough try to be very clear, not rush through any of the adjustments, and I hope that helped you out big time. And as always, if you do have any type of questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you do want to get more detailed information about the shots that I'm making in a written form, then check out the updated text guides that you can get through patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Here in the end, this is a tournament that runs over the Christmas or like the holidays for many players. Then the guides is going to be very important. And the video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And I want to wish you the best of luck and a Merry Christmas and have a lovely, lovely holiday, everyone.